And then, you know, you.
Recording in progress.
Perfect. We're on.
Alrighty. Okay, Miss Mahima says she'll be here in about 2 minutes. She's just coming back from school, but
No worries.
yeah.
No
Let's get. Alrighty. Well, let's start it. So first of all, thank you for everybody that came out today. I really, really appreciate it. It's good to see you guys again. So today we're going to be having our youth committee meeting. Okay, so just going over a meeting agenda. Officially call this meeting to order. Right now we're on agenda item number 2, the welcome discussion of the meeting logistic. So next on agenda number 3, we're going to go through roll call. Number 4, updates from representatives of elected officials or city departments. Number 5, public comment on items not on the agenda and within the purview of the committee. Number 6, discussion of youth committee participation in the Environmental Awareness Day event. And number 7, discussion of phase 2 of the KLAB grant application. Number 8, discussion of possible recommendation regarding Limekiln Canyon cleanup event. Number 9, meeting adjournment. So because Mahima's not here, she should be here soon. I'm just going to call roll call in her stead. So essentially in that case then, I also had a question regarding authority of what it is now. Because of the committee, I believe we had to have 2 different, adult supervisors just because of an age restriction. So
You have Jason and myself that are board members
perfect.
at this time, unless there's anybody else on the meeting.
I don't believe so.
No, you're good. I'm going to be on the meeting.
Great. Roll call then.
Usually, roll, you're just going to, if you have like a list of your committee members, you would just do the roll call. Like, do you have, I don't know how official you are, but do you have like an official list of your members of the committee?
Established committee members, we've definitely had students appear in the past before, but as for like the same students that have been coming, I believe Claudia's been here a few times, and Mahima, obviously, but she'll be here.
So you're the chair and you would determine who's on the committee, right? So
yes, we can definitely get that settled today though, as for official committee members, so we can at least move forward. I believe Zach should be joining as a panelist right now. Alrighty. So for roll call, chair.
do you want to just wait a couple more minutes and till you have who you're expecting?
Okay, yeah.
If you want to, so your committee, it's you,
Mahima is co-chair.
Ema, and who else do you have on your committee?
So far, I don't think we didn't really establish like exact committee members yet, and so we were planning on delegating those roles a bit later.
Maybe me and David?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's 4, and then you can just keep adding people. It's pretty informal.
And Assad, he's a stakeholder, so he's always available as well. So
Yes, I'm here ready to serve anybody for anything. Count on me.
Yeah. It's pretty informal. And then I know Jill wants to be on the committee too.
But I think Mahima, you probably could start because you do have quite a few students that have homework and stuff like that. So I think you should go ahead.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, moving on to agenda item number 4, the updates from representatives of elected officials or city departments. I don't believe we have any.
No, I invited Mirka. I talked to Mirka today from Councilman Lee's office, and so we went over everything, but she's busy right now, so I don't think we have anybody.
Alrighty, no worries. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 5, public comment on items not on the agenda and within purview of the committee. This would essentially be open to any stakeholders or participants that would like to pitch anything.
Assad's got his hand raised. Are you on 4 or 5, Assad?
On the general.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Madison, you can kind of open it up to the people on the call, just like introduce yourself and welcome them, and real informal, but Assad looks like he's first.
Great.
Okay. So I have a question. Really, it's more of curiosity. With all of you back to school, do you know if you're going to be hybrid or full-time or online, or just out of curiosity? I wanted to know each school what they're doing. Thank you.
Right. So on behalf of Granada, at least I can answer that question since I know there's quite a few Granada students attending the meeting today. But for as of now, we're planning on continuing full-time in person, at least unless once a student happens to get COVID, then we have to go home and obviously quarantine for 2 weeks. But currently right now, the plan is to stay fully in person. And for any other student that's attending the meeting right now that does not attend Granada, please feel free to raise your hand and answer Mr. Assad's question as well. I believe Zach, I don't think you go to Granada. So please feel free to answer Mr. Assad's question.
Castle Bay is the same, in person, full time. Balin,
Mr. Balin?
gotta unmute your mic. Gotta unmute yourself.
There you go. All right, there we go. Unless Zach wants to fill in, but Shamanad's
David has his hand. Thank you.
Did we get that?
You get it? Sorry.
Shamanad's in person.
All righty. Perfect.
We got a report last night at our board from Scott Schulmeyer. Is that the LAUSD?
Schmerlson.
Thank you so much. He said all schools are in person in District 12 right now. But they do have a record online where you can look up how many COVID positive tests there actually are. And there are 2,000 students currently that are positive COVID in the LAUSD area, and 3,300 students that are working from home. And so they're going to have some additional Zoom training that's going to have to happen just because of that. But they're not going to close down schools or anything. They'll just have to supplement with Zoom training, was what he actually said. Assad?
Thank you very much, all. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. I believe we just had Mahima join. So hi, Mahima. It's good to see you. Right now we're on agenda number 5, just public items on the not on the agenda. Does any other panelists have any questions or anything that they would like to ask, please feel free to do so. But if not, we're going to move on to the next agenda item.
Like maybe if any of the new people want to kind of, if there's anything that they're interested in, pursuing, any ideas. I mean, I think that's really nice to see new people, and we want you to be involved and pursue what you want to do. So if there's anything that you guys want to, any ideas or anything like that, don't be shy.
Right, definitely. I would just say for the new people here, at least, so we've had a few youth committee meetings in the past. So essentially the purpose of this youth committee, this is actually a fairly new committee. It was established back in May. The whole point of this committee is to provide a platform for students to engage in civic affairs on the neighborhood councils. So essentially this youth committee is very, very student focused. So it's centered around what the students want to do and what difference that they want to make in the community. So any issue that you feel passionate about, whether it be the homelessness crisis or something about education, we have different committees on that on the neighborhood council. And this youth committee essentially acts as a funnel for you to channel your interests and actively participate in essentially like a smaller form of government and enact policy change. So we're really looking forward to seeing all of these. I see a few familiar faces here too. So it's very, very, very happy to see you. And moving forward, at least, Mahima and I, we've also talked about previously in the past delegating different roles for specific roles in the youth committee. So we've been wanting to at least expand more, and at least for today, we've actually had a lot more students show up. So with more students showing up as well, this also means that we'd be able to delegates from most, so different attendees of the committee could actually have something that they can each be working on. So any civic affairs or anything or any issue in general that you feel is something that you're passionate about or something that you want to bring up to the neighborhood council, this is the place to do it. So it's very inclusive. We're very happy to see you here. So if there's anything else, Mahima, that you would like to add, please feel free to do so.
No, yeah. Hi, everyone. Sorry I joined late. I had like trouble getting home. But yeah, like Maddie said, this is like an opportunity for you guys to use your voices, which is super, super important. And it's like like a smaller form of government. And I think that the youth committee in Porter Ranch is kind of a unique opportunity because I think a lot of LA neighborhood councils don't actually have a youth committee. So we're one of the few like fortunate areas that do. So it's really important that the students here use their voice to enact change, because then we can create more neighborhood council youth committees elsewhere. And then, you know, we have student perspective on a lot of local issues, which is like super important. But yeah.
Great. So for all of the new students here, at least some of us may not know each other. So if you wouldn't, I would love for all of us to do like a quick little introduction. So maybe name, school, and how about some type of issue that you're passionate about? It doesn't have to be anything major. It can be anything just from like homelessness or just anything that you're passionate about or something that you would like to see from the youth committee or just anything that you're interested in. Okay, I can go first. My name's Maddie. I go to Granada Hills Charter High School. I'm currently a senior. And one issue that I'm passionate about is essentially promoting civic education among the youth, which is something that I believe is very, very important, especially in today's society. So I'll pass that on to Mahima.
Yeah, my name is Mahima. I think that one issue that I'm very, very passionate about is like feminism and also equality, and like getting more female representation in like the government and in spaces where they're not as represented. But one thing that I would like to see like the youth committee focus on or like, you know, touch on is like homelessness and like getting rid of the stigma of homelessness among like newer generations, but also like helping aid, you know, like helping out and like aiding that cause. I'll popcorn to Claudia.
Hi, my name is Claudia Shin. I'm in 10th grade. I also go to Granada Hills Charter High School. An issue that I'm really passionate about is also like Mahima, it's homelessness. I recently just became the president of this club at my school called Middlemen that works to fight against homelessness and provide resources to homeless people in the area around Granada Hills. Yeah.
Alrighty. I'll just go down the list of the panelists on the side one by one. I'll popcorn it over to Cami.
Hi, I'm Cami. I'm a senior at Granada Hills Charter High School too. And the main issue that I'm really passionate about is environmental, climate change type issues. And that's why I'm here today to learn more about the environmental fair and how we can help out. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'd also just like to advocate. She's a very, very big advocate in the environment. Is also involved in a lot of things at school and everything regarding the environment. And she was really passionate about it, actually coming out to this meeting to at least learn a lot more about the Environmental Awareness Day that Ms. Mather will be holding. So look forward to talking about that. Moving on, just going down the list. Marcos?
Yeah, hello, my name is Marcos Haynes. I'm a freshman at Granada Hills Charter High School. And an issue I'm really passionate about is equality, like through LGBTQ rights or women's rights or anything like that. And pollution, whether it be like on a global level or just litter. I find those really like important and interesting concepts, especially in today's world.
Well, it's really fantastic to hear. I look forward to working more with you in the future. Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm also a senior at Granada Hills High School, and I'm here on behalf of Dear San Fernando Valley, which is a youth organization aimed to promote arts in the community and social justice.
Right. So part of the reason that
What's it called? The what's that called? The
Dear San Fernando Valley.
Oh,
It's
great. Thank
yeah,
you.
it's the organization I told you about earlier regarding the KLB grant application. They're one of the organizations that be willing to paint for us. So, yeah. Alrighty, and Zach?
Hi, I'm Zach. I go to the International School of Los Angeles. I'm a junior, and something I'm passionate about is just getting everyone involved in the community and people taking pride in the community.
Great, thank you. Alrighty, so moving on.
Why don't we let Jill just kind of introduce, because I think what she, the work she does kind of ties in with everything. If you could give her a moment just to let the new members know what she's involved in. I see her smiling. She loves all the things you're saying. So
I do. I do. I'm especially thrilled with Cami and Zach, for instance, and Marcos, what you're saying. So I am the organizer and president of Volunteers Cleaning Communities, which I'll talk about the Environmental Day when my time comes up. But what I'm passionate about is litter and how I want to change the mindset of littering in America. So that it becomes a culture that people take responsibility for their own litter, because litter on the streets eventually makes it to the ocean, and it's one big ocean. We all share the same ocean, even though we call it different names, and that water is being polluted by the number one element that's going into the ocean right now is cigarette butts, 4-to-1 over plastic, which used to be the biggest thing. And cigarette butts are more toxic than anything else. So I'm loving it because I'm all about youth and working with youth in terms of changing that mindset, because it really is going to happen from the habits that parents create in their kids, or what kids create in their parents. Because as we know, children can definitely get their parents to change their mind if they're passionate about something. And so I believe that that's the way to go. So, you have just hit a homelessness. I'm chair of the Homeless Awareness Committee of the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council. So that's right down my alley. And I clean active and abandoned homeless sites regularly, working with the homeless. So first of all, if it's abandoned, we don't clean it until we absolutely know it's abandoned, and that's helping get the streets and the cities more beautiful and back to where we love them. And then working with the homeless within the community to take away their trash and try to minimize it. So even giving them a new tent in order to make their tent look better, because as long as they're living on the streets, we all want them to look attractive to the environment. We want them to be clean and not have cockroaches and mice and bugs because there's too much food around them. So we remove all of that from them. We sweep it up, we clean it up, give them a new tent, talk to them, and hopefully the outreach people, which is not me, the outreach people can get them housed. So so I was just very glad to hear all of you talk about those kinds of things. That's me.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Mather. If anybody else doesn't have any other questions, comments, anything they'd like to share or say, we're going to move on to the next agenda item.
can I just share one thing, Madison?
Yes, of course.
I got a new certificate. You guys want to see it?
Yes, definitely.
I'm an official certified native plant landscaper.
Wow. Congratulations.
Hey, Jason, that's a big wow. We should celebrate.
His passion. That's awesome. Congratulations.
That's all I got. Thank you.
It's a fantastic accomplishment, Mr. Hector. Wow. Alrighty. Okay, move on to the next agenda item. So agenda item number 6, the discussion of youth committee participation in the Environmental Awareness Day event. So Ms. Mather actually reached out to me previously beforehand about this event. The youth committee is actually planning on perhaps holding a booth over there. I'm actually going to hand over to Ms. Mather so she can explain it a bit more in detail.
Absolutely. So the Environmental Awareness Day, which is November 20th at the Chatsworth train station between 10 and 4, is a huge event. There's already 35 booths that are being reserved and more to come, which is amazing. And they're all involved around two things. One, making the individual and families, community members more aware of what they can do, either individually or as groups, to help the environment in so many ways, between water, between plants, between rocks and rock gardens, between monarch butterflies, bees, smoke-free environment, etc. The amount of people that have come to me for wanting to put booths in the day is just amazing and very diverse. So I'm super excited about it. What we did, and the other thing that I want to do is so one is to get them involved in the environment. Number 2 is to get them involved as volunteers in their community in one way or another. So the booths are also about how they can get involved within the youth committee, how they can get involved in my group as volunteers cleaning communities, and many other things that hike leaders in Santa Susana Park, they'll be there, you know, things that can get them to understand our environment, appreciate it, and be able to share it with other people. So those are really the 2 factors. And the day is going to be music. So there'll be music, live music, DJ, there'll be food trucks, there's free ice cream trucks, there's going to be face painting, there's going to be the booths, there's going to be live demonstrations. A beekeeper is going to tell us how we can start a beehive in our backyard. Monarch butterflies are going to tell us how milkweed in your backyard will help preserve and embellish the monarch butterfly, which is an endangered species right now. All kinds of things like that. And every booth is giving out something. So that's kind of a prerequisite as well. They need to involve them in, you know, kind of a education, a giveaway, not a raffle necessarily, but some kind of contest within it, etc. So Madison and I talked about, obviously the youth committee, because we need more volunteers. I mean, obviously you need more members of your committee. There's, you know, Porter Ranch, and Chatsworth, which neighbors have so many high school kids, and it doesn't have to be a high school kid that can be part of this committee. So it gives you an opportunity to reach out to people, because it really is going to be about families being there. It's not an adult oriented. Now, Madison, what I hadn't talked to you about is we're having quite a few tables that are art tables. So number 1, Madison, we're going to have a booth, and that will give you the opportunity to solicit youth and let them know that they can be involved in this. And Jason also told me that we're going to co-op that together with the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council. So it'll be all one booth. With that, we should have quite a few volunteers. Is we're having a rock painting table, and those rocks are going to go into Limekiln Park. So that art table could be something that you all man, because it's going to go to your park. I mean, I love your park too, and we're going to clean it on the 18th, but you know, that's your passion. That's what your KLAB grant is for, is that thing. And you can guide them through painting all these rocks. I mean, it's going to be hundreds and hundreds of rocks there that will eventually go to that park. So my thought was you could have that as an extension to your booth, which would be awesome to get so many people involved, but both in conversation as well as you could guide them through things that would be great on rocks and painting. So the other ones that we're going to have is a recycled art table. So there's going to be one big table of trash, and the person who makes the best art out of that trash is going to win $50. And then I have a vendor coming in, amazing lady who has a company that they make beautiful art out of cardboard, recycled cardboard off the street. And that's going to be another table and booth where they're going to teach us how to make amazing art out of cardboard that we just find around or would throw away. Face painting, etc. So there's going to be a lot of different artistic things that are going on above and beyond the demonstration. So that's kind of an overview. What do you think, Jason?
As far as the milkweed, I have a lot of milkweed seeds and I've been sprouting them, and I got little baby milkweeds now.
Wonderful.
So I'm thinking maybe if you guys, want to take some seeds and start some plants at home. It's always nice to give stuff away to people.
I have this expert lady coming and she's doing the huge demonstration, has a booth about that. So it'd be great to be giving out milkweed as part of that whole discussion.
I can try and start a bunch of them. I mean, I can do like
I'll help you if you need it, for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you some seeds, and I think that's a good educational tool to get people, in the native plant. That's why I showed my certificate.
Absolutely. Remember tree people, we have to still get them.
Yeah. Let's call them. Yeah, we want to get free trees. They'll give trees away to any DWP households. So all you need is your DWP bill, and they'll give you a free tree. And we need to get people pre-registered for that. That's what they prefer. It's not a must, but it's better. The more people we get pre-registered for their trees, then they just want to have an idea of how many. They don't want to bring like 50 trees and only give away 10, and then they have to take them all back. They don't want to take anything back. They want to, so if we have 50 pre-registers, then they might bring, 80 or 100 trees.
So we've got rain barrels coming. We've got somebody talking about gray water, because that's really important to be able to reuse our water. And we have One Generation is going to talk about water tips, how to save water, and doing a whole interactive thing. There's just a myriad of amazing people have come forward to give to this environmental Awareness Day. My plan is to have this minimum twice a year. I'd like to have it more often than that, but it's a big undertaking, and this is my first one, so we'll go with the first one and see how it goes. But I think your table could be very enhanced by doing the rock thing, as well as that just will draw. I'm trying to get things that will draw people to the booths, and neighborhood councils, are not, and I'm on the board of another neighborhood council. We're not all that exciting. So having something that's exciting that you do at your booth will get people there and give you the opportunity to talk to them. So I just think it's a perfect match for your neighborhood council. Yes.
Maybe if you put us by, with I could do something with native plants. We could work on like getting some baby native plants, and then maybe you want to have like the bees kind of next to us, right? So it has kind of a continuity.
Well, you and I can work on the placement of the booths.
Right, and then the trees.
Yeah, it's a big thing, location of where you put people, so it complements each other and you don't have a boring part of an area. You have things that are exciting going on all around. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can work on that. David's got his hand up, it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. So first off, I have to tell everybody, Jason's an amazing grower. I've been fortunate to be able to go and get vegetables all year long. So thank you, Jason. But Jason, we might at the if we're going to have a table, we might just want to you can show how to grow things. We have some seeds. We can get some quick little pots, and you can maybe that's something we can give out.
Yeah, so maybe we want like 2 tables, maybe one for beautification and one so we can do like the baby seedlings, and then another one for the stones, painting, like kind of do it that way maybe.
Well, do you want 2 booths side by side?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
In the rocks, and yours is the
right
neighborhood council, and you do the trees. That's fine. The more booths, the better.
Right.
It's only another tent is what.
But I agree with you, Jill. I think if you bring something that interaction to the community, people are going to want to be at that booth because they're going to be able to participate.
Yep.
So I'm with you 100% on that, because you are correct that neighborhood council booths are normally boring. So you're
That's
correct.
right. That's right. And that's I'm having private conversations with every vendor and telling them you can't be in it unless you have something that's interactive. I mean, that's what it is. It's not just to be there. The library is coming, by the way, because she wants to come, and she's going to do readings, and she's actually got all the environmental books, and she's actually going to read to people so that people will go back there and they'll read, and she'll do readings, and that's what libraries are all about.
The library is amazing.
Yeah. And so
is that Porter Ranch?
Yes. And no, Chatsworth, sorry.
Oh, Chatsworth. Okay.
Sorry. And then, Santa Susana State Park is going to bring the stagecoach. I told him, bring the stagecoach so people can take pictures. And the stagecoach will definitely draw everybody wanting to go over there to find out about the historical park, which is all about the stagecoach. So you get my gist is everybody is thinking about what they can do to make it fun. I want people to stay there all day. The music's going to go on. There'll be food. There'll be fun. There'll be games. There'll be different things. There'll be game tables and sections. So there's no reason that people can't stay 3 or 4 hours and enjoy themselves. So.
Right. I completely agree with everything that you're saying. I guess one thing that I did want to ask was, as for volunteers for this event, is it very open to any, especially like students or the students that are attending the meeting today, or anybody that they believe would be interested in perhaps assisting this event? Is this event open to anybody who would just want to volunteer? Because earlier this past week, actually, I was actually talking to my environmental science teacher about this event, because she was very involved in the environment. She's always, as for these types of events, is something that she'd love to attend. So,
Madison, absolutely. The Shepherd's Church is going to send a lot of volunteers. I've got Sierra Canyon sending volunteers. So, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. I mean, there'll be a lot of opportunities for people for just a short time, an hour or two, to help parking, information, directing people around, timetables for people of when you want to, speakers that are supposed to go at a particular time. There's lots of opportunities. And for volunteering at the art tables, I mean, those are going to take some real volunteers, because people are going to make a mess of it, and they need to know what to do, and then we need to vote. So there'll be a lot of opportunities. Absolutely.
Madison, usually what you want to do is kind of like maybe set up like a sign up list, or and then think about things that volunteers can do, and Jill maybe has some volunteer things for the operational of the event, but also the table, manning the table, and then manning the rock painting. And so usually, you sign up for shifts. So if you can kind of get your volunteers to sign up for shifts, and then it's a little more organized.
Madison, I'll make up an electronic form of all the things that I think could be possible that people could volunteer for. It won't have a shift, but it would be their interest for what they might want to volunteer for. And I'll make that link available to you.
Perfect. That sounds fantastic. Also one thing I wanted to go over just for all the attendees and new attendees in the meeting. So with protocol, essentially, if you want to speak, or if you have anything to say, any questions, really anything, just raise your hand with the function. I believe if you click on participants and then right next to your name, there should be like a little raise hand function. So please feel free to raise your hand and talk. Definitely love to hear your thoughts or just anything that you're thinking. I believe Mahima has her hand raised. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to say that this sounds so cool. And this is really exciting. Also, I don't know if anyone completely said this, but I think it would be really cool if we did the rock paintings. I think that would be really fun for us too, right? And then also, would we have to bring rocks and paint, or?
No, I'm lucky enough to have gotten a grant from Home Depot, and they're giving me a second grant for the Environmental Awareness Day. And there's a lot of rocks on that list, a lot. So
okay, cool. So we would just have to essentially come with volunteers.
The paint will be there, the spray to protect them will be there, and the rocks will be there, and the brushes will be there. It's just helping people to paint them or get them started, and then putting the rocks on display somewhere, you know what I mean? And then we'll eventually have to get them over to the park.
Okay, cool. And also, just so that everyone knows, one more time, what did you say the date was?
It's November 20th from
Okay.
10 to 4. It's a Saturday at the
Got you. Okay.
Chatsworth train station.
Right. I actually have the flyer for the PDF. I have a flyer to the PDF that Ms. Mather sent earlier. So later at the end of the meeting, I can paste that link into the chat. Oh, and also, I'm not sure if the chat function is available. So at the end of the meeting too, I just wanted to make sure for those of you who would actually be interested in participating in this event, or if you have any questions at all, or if you wanted to get any updates on the youth committee, or at least participating in it too, we hold meetings, I would say, around like maybe once a month, maybe even more, depending on what events we're focusing on. So I would love to get all of your contact information as well, just so you guys can stay in the loop of what on what we're working on. One other thing I also wanted to ask Ms. Mather was if we could use this opportunity to kind of educate. I think I was actually thinking about perhaps making like a little flyer, a little maybe like a little booklet, like template or something with different sustainability methods that would like different ways that you can just make your lifestyle more sustainable, whether it be installing more recycling bins in your house or like designating a separate bag for like cans and bottles or little or just like little tips and or anything like that you can put on flyer and hand out at that event to just to spread awareness about sustainability.
Whatever you want to do is fine with me. You're a very intelligent young lady and I trust you, but you'll show it to me, obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
So, yeah, those are fun things. And you're, you know, you're the youth booth. So
Right.
you're the first one. I'm trying to get one in Chatsworth, but they just, it's not in our bylaws. So we have to change our bylaws to get a youth committee, which takes so much time. But anyway, so you're going to attract the youth there and your table will attract a lot of youth, let me tell you. So the way that you can connect to them, because you're young and your artistic ability, like your presentation here, will really help connect them to volunteer opportunities, etc. So yeah, definitely, whatever you want to do, just run it past me.
Oh,
or
of
Jason,
course.
or Jason, of course.
Yes, always.
In there.
Oh, yeah. So right before I call on Marcos, I also wanted just to open up the floor to all the participants in here in general. If you guys have any ideas, I think some of you may have my contact information as well, but if you don't, I'll be sure to add that later. So you guys can be free to contact me. Please feel free to voice any thoughts, ideas, anything. We always love to hear what you have to say. So that Marcos, you can unmute yourself.
So I have a question regarding this upcoming event. Is there going to be any special protocols in place for COVID safety?
Well, we'll see how COVID is in November, you know. If we're still at the situation that we are now, then absolutely, that we'll have to wear masks. They're just, you know, within distances. We'll see how it is as we go along. I haven't, it's a good point. Again, we don't know what November is going to be. November is at least a few months away, thank goodness. But there definitely probably has to be that, yes. Good point, Marcos. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Nina?
Oh, I think that one of the things that you can do if you're like, you know, you're like, oh, how do I make this COVID friendly or safe? If you have like enough space, maybe you could organize the booths in a way that they're kind of a little bit more spread out than they would be. That way there's kind of like less traffic between them. Right. So it's like more spread out and then people don't get crowded in certain areas.
Well, I know a lot of it's going to be, you know, because people will be listening to music and eating, etc. So there'll be tables that are spaced very far apart, you know, the 6 feet apart from each other to give enough seating space for people when they want to sit down. Because I expect that a large amount of people are going to want to stay for, you know, for a long period of time. And we may have to create lines where there's distancing. And if there is, we'll deal with that and mark those things as we have to. Again, Marcos, a great idea. And in the back of my mind, I'm obviously thinking about that. And that's what part of, if it gets so busy and there's a line to get in because it's too busy, that's a good thing, correct? because people can listen to the music even in line, so they can have a good time. They can go to the food truck, they can do all of that before they actually come in and be able to be part of all of the other things that they want to go there for. So it's a huge open, remember, it's outside. It's across from Ralph's in the north part of the Chatsworth train station, that whole side. So it's a huge open space there. There's plenty of room for tents and tables and all of that. So we're really lucky. I just hope it doesn't rain to have that open space.
Fantastic. Yeah, so ultimately, I'm really big proponent of this event, obviously. I really hope that each of you guys will be able to make it out. I'm really excited about this because I think it'll be a really great opportunity, at least for the youth committee, to at least outreach to a lot of different students in the community, because I know that at least with my first involvement in neighborhood council affairs and just committees in general, it took somebody else actually for me to introduce me to all of this. And without like that person, then it would have been very difficult for me to at least know and understand what the function of the neighborhood councils are. So I would say, just for all of you guys, if you know anybody interested, or they don't even have to be interested in neighborhood council, just someone who shows any type sort of initiative towards helping the community or just anything of the sort, neighborhood councils you can always be that plug to get them involved in this platform. The youth committee is obviously the best way to do so. So yeah, ultimately I would really love to see all you guys at this event. And yeah, I believe Mr. Hector has his hand raised. You can unmute
Yeah, I'll
yourself.
throw my hand up. We have a lot of Granada Hills youth, so shout out to all of you Granada Hills youth. And I know, Assad and David, they're Chaminade, but we got to get some Chatsworth people too. I mean, this is a Chatsworth event. So I guess I would stress to Jill and to Madison to work with school board member Scott Schmerlson's office, and let's try and get a contact at Chatsworth High School and make sure they have the flyer. Make sure, if they don't come, they don't come, but we got to reach out to them. They're our neighbors, they're our partners. And if you need help with distribution to other neighborhood councils, I mean, certainly, Jill, you can distribute this flyer to Chatsworth Neighborhood Council. You could distribute it to school board member Scott Schmerlson's office. Tara Vahad, it's hard to say her name, Vahandian. She's amazing. Send it to her. Just get it out to her and let her know, we have a lot of Granada Hills people, but we really want to get it out to Chatsworth. This is a Chatsworth event. I think it's so important to connect with their ideology, with their values. They're very much entrenched in their kind of equestrian community. They're very in tune with the environment in Chatsworth as well. And so I think it's a great opportunity to, get that kind of equestrian perspective as part of the event. So I hope we'll get there. It'll develop over time.
I actually haven't really started promoting with banners and all of that stuff yet. That comes next month, or actually at the end of this month. And you're absolutely right. I should start with the schools right away. And we want Northridge. I mean, we want the whole valley if they really, come if you want, it'll be there. But obviously the North Valley is where we're concentrating that particular influence on. So.
Right. I think Mr. Billion has his hand up.
I do. So I will be more than happy. I do know some of the directors over there, so I will reach out. I'll take the reins on dealing with Chatsworth, and I'll get the students all involved with you as well, Madison. We'll work on it together.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you. So right, to move on, does anybody else have if anybody else doesn't have any questions, comments, or anything about this event, always please feel free to email me or reach out to me or Mahima. We're always open in here to answer your questions. So please feel free to do so. Alrighty, moving on to the next agenda item. Okay, agenda item number 7, discussion of phase 2 of the KLB grant application. So I'm going to hand that over to Mr. Hector. Oh, Mr. Hector? Oh, for the phase 2.
Yeah, let's see. All right. So I have a shared drive going now with, it says 12 participants, but basically we got accepted to the second round. So that's good news. I have it here on the application, but let me go back to the grant itself. This is the grant itself, so we can kind of bring everybody up to speed on what we're talking about here.
Exactly. I was just about to say, ask if you give a little introduction for
Yeah.
what you've been working on for this grant.
So the title of the grant is a Porter Ranch Park Beautification Project. This grant is focusing on Limekiln Canyon Park. Hopefully everybody knows where Limekiln Canyon is, but it's pretty much by on Rinaldi, kind of between the 7-Eleven and the YMCA. And the canyon runs all the way up to Cessna. So it's about 1.7 miles. Can everybody see this where it says Porter? Yeah, okay, there it goes. Can you see the pictures?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. All right. So the top picture is the entrance to the park. And so these are other parks. The bottom 3, we have Wilbur Tampa Park, which is Wilbur and Tampa. And then we have Aliso Canyon Park, which is the bottom 2. So those are the 3 major parks we have in Porter Ranch. And so the project has 4 components. So the first part of it is installing dog waste bag holders. We have a lot of problems with, it's not just the dogs, and it's the wild animals too. So we're trying to figure out a solution. This is something that maybe will help. And the proposal is to install dog waste bag holders in those various parks. So wherever we need them. So that's part of that. And one of the responsibilities that we will have to take on as a neighborhood council is filling the bags. So once the bags run out, and so I've been working with Mirka, and Mirka Martinez is Councilman Lee's representative who handles the parks. So she's amazing. She's great. She's been helping us with all our stuff. But basically, we're going to need some paperwork. We're going to need a MOU, which is Memorandum of Understanding, and we're going to need a right of entry permit to do this, which is fine. I've been working with her. We can get that. We can sign it. But basically, we're agreeing to, with all these things, we're agreeing to the maintenance component of it. We're agreeing to, resupply the bags when they run out and things like that. So that's all stuff that we'll handle through the neighborhood council and the committees. And the second part is the artistic part, which is regarding painting the trash cans. So there's a lot of trash cans throughout the park. And I was talking to Mirka about how we would kind of do that. I'm really pushing for them to give us trash cans that we can give to the artist. They can paint them, give them back to Rex and Parks, and install it. That's really the easiest way to do it. But however we do it, we're going to do trash cans, and we're going to either put artwork on it or we're going to repaint them with a fresh coat of paint. We're going to clean them, sanitize them, prime them, and repaint them. So at least they're not looking like, they're 10, 15 years old and nobody's done anything. So it's really just kind of a beautification improvement, but also bringing the art to the community. So I budgeted for paint sets, anti-graffiti coating, and I'm budgeting also for the artist stipend. So we'll see how all this goes, but overall, I'm looking for people to kind of jump in and take on certain tasks. So I'm just going to do kind of a broad overview, but I'm ultimately wanting to kind of divvy up different tasks, because you know, that's the whole point here of the youth committee, is to have the youth involved. And that's why, you know, we're bringing the youth committee to this project, so that, you know, you guys are young, we want you to shine. You know, we want you guys to take the reins. You know, we want to just kind of do all the behind the scenes stuff, but ultimately we want this to be like your project, because this is just the first project. There's many more things we can do. So this is just kind of like getting you started. So the third project is the benches, which, you know, I talked to Mirka. These benches are not Rex and Parks benches, so it's really kind of something that we would be doing, you know, like they're not really approved official benches. So she's like, okay, well, you know, like this. She's like this. So, so we'll move on to the last part, which is the plaque. And actually, these are the bench locations. The benches are actually, if you've been to Limekiln Park, there's a stream that runs year round through the park. There's the first stream crossing and the second stream crossing. These benches are after the second stream crossing. And as you can see, they've been, you know, they've fallen apart. But there was a group of people who put these benches in, just community members who wanted, you know, seniors in our community who wanted a place to sit. You know, if you're going to walk from Rinaldi all the way, you know, past the YMCA, past the first and second stream crossing, they need somewhere to rest, right? They're not going to like sit down on the dirt. So they put these benches in, but they've obviously fallen apart. So we want to do something for the community and just basically put boards across here so that they have a place to sit. And the last part, C number 4, installing a plaque recognizing volunteers and entities that financially. So basically what, and this is kind of where I really want somebody to kind of, you know, work on this, figuring out, number 1, you know, what you think the plaque should look like, what it should say. You know, I have my own ideas on that, but you know, what type of plaque, we just have to be concerned about, you know, safety, right? So we need to have a plaque that's not going to be like, there's a plaque in Aliso Canyon Park. It's on the ground. I don't know if that's going to be, you know, so like where you want to locate it, what it's going to look like, what it's going to say, and maybe, you know, who's going to do the plaque for it and how much it's going to cost. You know, those are some of the things that we still have to develop in the second round of, because they want all the details. We can kind of ballpark it, but at this point with the second round, we need like specifics.
Right. Yeah, so part of the reason why we wanted the youth committee at least involved in this is because we wanted different students who are at least willing to volunteer to at least assist in either painting or anything that Mr. Hector mentioned in these projects. So that's part of the reason why I reached out to Dear San Fernando Valley. It's an organization at Granada actually that focuses on the arts, and at least I believe in previous projects. We actually have a representative from there, Ashley. I'm sure she can elaborate a bit more on this, but I believe they've done different projects where I think they've painted murals as well as different refrigerators, and they're also do their own designs, I think. So in terms of designs for the plaque as well as for the trash cans, that can be something that they'd be open to working on. If Ashley wanted to add it, you can feel free to do so or just raise your hand.
So Madison, on that point, have you seen well, you were on the email where we got the stuff from Rex and Parks, you know, can you see me? I can't see myself when I'm sharing screen. But...
Yes, I can see you holding up the paper.
Yeah, so can you know what I'm talking about though, right? Like the stuff from Mirka? Yeah, so if you forward that stuff to Mirka, because I went through it and there's some questions about, you know, who is the artist, and then they have like, because this is kind of stuff that is going to potentially have to go through the Rex and Parks board. But Mirka will help us with all that, so don't let it, you know, discourage you. But they do have like questions here about, you know, they say artist resume, you know, what is it going to look like? lifespan, who's going to do it. There's no signed contract. We're not going to have that. It's just a trash can. So it's not that serious, but I think that, that's really where I could help. I could use some help in terms of figuring out, getting a list. This is the organization. These are the artists. This is what we're proposing. And, these are some of the things we've done or we haven't done. If you haven't, that's fine too. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so as for all the participants here today, essentially for this grant, we want any students who feel the need to volunteer at least. Also, by the way, in attending committee meetings as well, these also, I believe either Mr. Hector or Mr. Blank can sign off for volunteer hours. So that's also a plus. But on top of that, we also want anybody can participate in at least assisting. So as Mr. Hector said, we wanted different groups to at least try to volunteer. So these can be any groups too. It can either be like a school sports team, club team, ASB, MUN. I know he was very involved in MUN. So any like-minded students who would love to volunteer as well. I open up to the floor to you guys as well. And I think I saw, yes, Ms. Mather.
Yeah, so I happen to be on the KLAB board and I vote on these things. Thank goodness I didn't get yours because we divided them out and I wanted to recuse myself from yours probably. But one of the things I definitely want to recommend is you need to have a maintenance, and Jason discussed that. For instance, if you're going to paint something, you better have a protective coat on it against graffiti. And you need to say that that's what you're going to do, is there's going to be a protective coat and so that graffiti will come off very easily. And so what you're doing and spending this money on won't go to naught, because that's really what's so important. Like Jason talked about, you're going to have to put the bags in the doggy bag place. That would be a perfect example. That's the maintenance. The bags have to be replenished, and who's going to do that? And how long are you going to do that too? So if it's for 1 year, if it's for 2 years, if it's for the rest of your life, because that's a cost factor. How much are the bags for how long? And that's what the maintenance is going to be for that period of time. And benches as well. What's the protective coating? Because people put graffiti on the benches, that. And is it protective against the weather? Are you putting something that's not wood, or if you are, it's protective coating against the weather, so it's going to last for 10 years or whatever. So that's just my recommendation, being that I happen to vote on these things. The more detailed that you can get, the more likely you'll get the grant.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jill. I think we could even use the wood that's like that kind of composite wood. They have this wood that doesn't but yeah, those are all important points. I think if Madison, if you're up for it, I think if you and the youth committee can kind of handle the art component and the trash cans and the plaque, and think about, and we'll reconvene and kind of see what you've come up with, and then because we don't necessarily have to have a meeting. But if you can kind of work with your, collaborate with your group and come up with a good list, this group is going to kind of head up, the artistic part of it. Then, as far as the benches, I got that, the dog bags, the budget, I got all that. But I can use some support in terms of the ideas, for the artwork, for the artists, and this kind of paperwork here with the Recs and Parks, the one that they sent. If you guys can kind of think about that and maybe put together, maybe there's somebody who does kind of have a resume or maybe a little bit of experience, even if it's just real casual, or if not, it's fine too. But at least you have something, okay? And you can put something on paper. We can attach it to the application. And I believe David is going to help. And I know Assad will probably help with getting, letters of recommendations, going to the HOAs. You can go to your school your groups, and you can put letters of support for this thing. We need letters of support, okay? And David and I will work on funding. We're going to try and I've already talked to John Lee's office about getting funding, but Assad and David and I, we can handle that kind of part of it, the funding, the letters of rec. But I think that, as a community, you guys can handle a lot of the artistic side. Does that sound like something you guys can kind of, and then we share the workload, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely. I also wanted to acknowledge, I also wanted to acknowledge earlier, warm welcome to C. Demerchian. I think they may have entered the room earlier, but yeah, other than
Yeah,
that.
that's PRNC
Christine.
secretary.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine. If you like to say something, go ahead. Madison is the chair of the youth committee.
I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen real quick. Give me 1 second. So at least for the participants here today, and the students like Claudia and Marcos, since both of you guys go to Granada, I think Marcos, I think I heard you were in ASB, right? Okay, yeah. So any organizations like that, anybody who don't necessarily have to be artistic, but if they have any ideas for this, or Claudia as well, if you know anybody who would be interested in assisting with this, doesn't necessarily have to be artistic people, but if they are, that would definitely be a plus. But just essentially finding volunteers and, like Mr. Hector said, divvying up the work a bit amongst ourselves, at least in the youth committee, so we could start getting this grant moving. I think it would be a very, very good addition to Limekiln Canyon Park, which is something right in our backyard. So if you guys have any comments, questions, anything, feel free to raise your hand. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Hector?
No, I was just looking at your potential artist volunteer list here. So I think just the next step is kind of completing the paperwork that that the Recs and Parks wants. This is a Recs and Parks project, so we have to follow their protocol. But don't worry. We got Mirka who's going to help us, and we got John Lee's office that's going to support us. So they're youth. It's a youth group, so we're not looking for 10 years of experience as an artist, right? It's just a trash can. This is a good kind of jumping off point for any artist. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity for any young artist, because you can take pride in something that you've done in your work, and it will go on your resume, right? It's a big deal. It's a public art project.
Definitely. At least for the organization that Ashley comes from, I would say from their previous works, they would be very, very experienced and perfect for this project, at least just because like some of the worst artists that they work, some of the art projects that they work on have actually truly been very, very good. Yeah, so I think that they actually be perfect for this project. So as Zach and anybody else involved in the meeting, if you guys have any ideas or people who you think would be perfect for the project, please feel free to reach out to me. I believe Cedar Merchant, you had your hand raised earlier. If you wanted to speak, please feel free to do so.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself and say hi to everybody. For some reason, it wasn't unmuting me when everybody was saying hello, so I apologize about that.
No worries. Alrighty, it's very nice to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for attending.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Jill has her hand up.
I do. There's no hand that you can put it up when you're in this.
Don't worry, you're on vacation, Jill. Go ahead.
I know, I'm on vacation.
Got you.
I'm actually eating dinner here in my RV, so that's why I'm stopping the video. But you know what would be kind of cool at the environmental day is we have a trash can that we can paint.
Right.
I mean, that might be an interesting concept, is just getting one of those barrels and seeing what people could do with it under your guidance. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, what I was talking to Mirka, like I was saying, is like getting the trash cans, giving them to the artists, letting them so they could, you know, do a demonstration at the environmental fair, and then be like, oh yeah, you know, the artist is actually here doing the artwork.
That would be great.
And this is going to go in the park. We could even have like a little picture, like a picture of the rock garden, a picture of the park. Totally.
Yeah. I think that would be awesome to do that. So it would fit right into the concept. So we can talk about that. I'm gonna unvideo because I have to eat dinner. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Ms. Mather.
Enjoy, Jill. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you. I'm leaving now. Bye.
No worries. So the deadline is the 30th, guys. So in the next couple weeks, Madison, if you can kind of pull together, you know, the game plan for the artwork,
Right.
that's the most, you know, and then think about maybe the plaque. I mean, pretty much the plaque. There's a really good quote from John Denver that I like, but it's essentially the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council, you know, Youth Committee and Beautification Committee that's, you know, really contributing, but you're also going to want to recognize, you know, Keep LA Beautiful for their grant. They're going to, you know, give us $1,200 hopefully, and any other participants. But I thought it would be nice to have a nice quote on there, you know, and the quote that I get from the John Denver, you know, we're the you know, the keepers of the wilderness, or we're the voice for the wilderness, you know, something like that. But, you know, Jill also has some great, you know, quotes too, in terms of, you know, when you walk through the park, it would be nice if people take a trash bag when they come to the park, right? You go hiking, take a trash bag and leave with more than you came in with, right? And so an inspirational type of quote that will motivate people to pick up trash and create a long-term solution for keeping our park clean, right? So we don't have to do these cleanups every, you know, we're going to talk about the cleanup next, but I was just there and there's a bunch of trash everywhere. So if everybody, you know, and that's kind of Jill's philosophy, if everybody does a little bit of picking up every time they hike, you know, if you go once a week or twice a week, we wouldn't have any trash there, you know? So I think keeping that in mind, and like, you know, we are the stewards of this beautiful park. You know, we're the ones who are out there taking care of it. It's not just us, but, you know, it's many other people. But so those are just kind of some ideas. So think about kind of maybe something inspirational that we can put on the plaque and then recognize people. Those are kind of the two things that I really lean on you guys to help with, and I'll kind of help with, you know, the budget and the paperwork and the correspondence and the approvals, the permits, all that stuff.
Definitely. Sounds good.
And like I said, Balin and Assad are going to help on the letters of recommendation, maybe get us some extra funding so we can, you know, save our funds for more projects.
That's true.
For sure. Count me on board. No problem.
Sounds perfect. At least in regards to the designs, I'll talk to I'll talk to Dear San Fernando Valley again regarding it. And if you could send, if it can just be through email too. If you could send me a list of some of the ideas you have, or like something it could be centered around, I think we can really work with them and anybody else too in making this painting and murals a reality. So, alrighty. If nobody has any other questions or comments, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 8, which is the discussion of possible recommendation regarding the Lime Kiln Canyon cleanup event, which is also with Mr. Hector.
All right, I'll just make it pretty quick. I talked to Mirka today, and you know, Mirka is amazing. I was at the park and I told her, you know, there's trash everywhere, and immediately she's like, okay, and she set the date for the cleanup. She talked to the councilman, and they're on board. So we're gonna do it. It's the 18th, I think. Let me check the calendar. Is that Saturday? Can somebody see the calendar? 18th should be a Saturday.
Okay.
September 18th?
Yeah, this month. It's coming. So we're doing it. We have it on the agenda. We're not gonna really co-sponsor it, but gonna try and get some money for the drinks and whatever else we're gonna need. So it's gonna be like last time. Her idea was to meet in the park, kind of where you go down the hill there. And so we won't have to deal with the church or any of that. And then we're gonna just kind of hike all the way through and go in two separate directions. So this is really a councilman's office is going to spearhead it because it's on a short notice. You know, we don't have time to get our approvals and all that. So we're just going to be like participants and supporters of the event. And that's pretty much it. It's going to be kind of like the last time we did it. So I guess just kind of getting the word out, hopefully coming, you know.
Perfect. Right. So for those of you who went there before, the Youth Committee of Education also worked this past summer in organizing another cleanup at Limekiln Canyon. It was one of the first time in a while that I actually attended a cleanup and actually I actually participated in the process of going through and improving it. And it was actually a really, really great experience. And the cleanup itself was actually very, very fun. We actually had a lot of students show up. So it was a really fun experience. And going into Limekiln Canyon as well, it was my first time actually going down that path because I think there's two different entrances, one on the side that goes, or at least the main entrance side, but this is my first time going down there. And
right, we're gonna do the north this time. So last time we did the south of Rinaldi, which is kind of like what they, you know, not the as nice part of it, but now since we did the cleanup, it's really nice. But yeah, we're gonna start and go north. So we're gonna go all the way up, almost to the bridge.
Wow. Yeah. When I was with my experience with the cleanup as well, I didn't know it was right the part that we cleaned up last time. I wasn't familiar with this my first time going down there, but it's right under the freeway and there was actually a lot of different graffiti art, and that was actually really, really cool. So yeah, at least I encourage each and every one of the students here. I believe Mahima and I went last time to the event and it was a really, really fun experience. We actually had a lot of fun cleaning up, and other students showed up as well. So I would encourage each and every one of you to at least, if you can make it, I know it's a bit on a short notice, but if you can make it, I would highly, highly recommend you come. It's a very great experience.
Yeah, I just want to like go off of that. It was actually so much fun to like you know, like pick up trash because everyone's there. So you're like talking to people while you're picking up trash. You're like there's equipment to use to pick up the trash. So it's a lot of fun. And then also it feels good to like do something for your community and like clean up somewhere that wasn't so clean before. So if you guys can come, it'd be really cool to see all of you guys in person and meet you all. And also just because it's like a fun time.
Definitely. This is also an opportunity to earn volunteer hours. So definitely something that all of us can not really use more of, but definitely something that all of us can use. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, use. Anyways, attending meetings as well and events, anything that's related to the neighborhood council, this all counts as volunteer. So the meeting that you're attending right now, if you wanted to talk to Mr. Hector or Mr. Bailey, they can actually sign off on your volunteer hours as well for attending this. So another great plus to coming to the youth committee and attending these meetings, especially for the students too. So yeah, I highly recommend, I highly, highly encourage you guys to attend the cleanup if you can. And if you didn't want to go alone either, I encourage you to bring your friends or even like maybe one or two friends as well. And you have a really, really great time there. So yeah. Anything else anybody wants to add?
No, it is fun. It is fun, and the park is beautiful. And you know, even if you just want to come and hang out and enjoy, you know, nature, and you know, just it's like getting away from the city. You don't even know that you're in the middle of the city because you got the stream and the trees, and so yeah, it's connecting with our environment and nature is really healthy. So and fun.
Definitely. Just attending NC events in general, these all count as volunteer hours. Also definitely another added plus. So I recommend each and every one of you guys to come. So if nobody has any other further comments or questions, I'll move a motion to adjourn. But before we adjourn the meeting, oops, okay, yeah, okay, keep it on that. But I wanted to thank each and every one of the students that took the time to come out today and attend this meeting. I hope maybe that you got something out of it, or maybe it motivates you to participate in the youth committee. Mahima and I actually, we really wanted to expand this. And since over the summer, actually, it was a bit harder to do outreach just because students are on vacation. It was kind of their break from online school. And at least I can speak for myself when I say it's definitely needed that much needed break after the end of the school year. So, but with the school year starting again, back in person now, I think this would be a really great time for us to expand our scope. And I'm really excited to see a lot of students come out today. And so I was actually curious, at least for Marcos, Claudia, and Zach, how you heard about the meeting, just so we know for future outreach, because I actually invited Ashley just because I knew her from Granada and she was part of the organization. So I was wondering if you guys wouldn't mind saying how you guys heard about the meeting today. Okay, Marco, you can unmute.
I heard about this meeting from Mr. Balin.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Balin.
For me, because I came last time, I've just been kind of checking the website, like the prnc.org, to see whenever there's a meeting. So I checked yesterday and then saw that there was one today. So it's good timing.
We're gonna start like an email list or something, like some kind of contact sheet, so we can email you guys when there's meetings. It's just hard because no one can put their email in the chat because we don't have a chat. So it's like difficult. But if you guys like email Maddie, do you have your email in?
There's a Q&A.
But we can't type in the Q&A since we're panelists.
Oh,
Types anything, or
yeah, they don't want us to have a chat. That's the problem.
Also, if you guys have Instagram, I guess you could contact us that way. So mine is just my name, and then Maddie's is also her name, right? Yeah, it is.
Pretty much my name. You know, I'm just gonna demote I have another computer that's presenting the thing right now, so I'm gonna demote that computer to attendee and then type something in there, and then hopefully you should be able to respond to questions.
Yeah.
So.
And then that way you guys can all just copy down the email and then just shoot her a real quick email like, oh, hey, like I'd like to be added to the contact list. And then we'll just email you every time there's a meeting or every time we need something or we're doing something fun.
Definitely. And as for the students who came today, I know Claudia's been actually coming out consistently, so it's really nice to see you at all of these meetings. Actually, moving forward, if there's any sort of Marcos, Zach, Ashley as well, if there's any sort of like issue or any type of problem, it doesn't even need to necessarily be something big. It can be anything as small as just advocating for something that you're passionate about. Please feel free to bring it to the youth committee. And Mahima and I are definitely going to work on delegating actual specific roles. So whether it be, I don't know, if just for instance, Claudia being in charge of outreach or Marcos being in charge of like funneling students or getting students to come or whatever it may be. This committee truly is for the student. It's a platform for you guys to use for your benefit. So just think of it as a very like safe and open place to voice your concerns, because the whole point of this committee was created was to promote civic engagement among students. So this is like your first, it can be your exposure to neighborhood councils and anything of that affair, which I think is really cool. So let me see. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. I just typed a question. It just says emails. Let me know. I think if you click on the Q&A and answer by text, you might be able to type in your emails. And if you do so, I will. Oh, just move back to answer. Okay. Great. Claudia answered. Perfect. Marcos, I think if you click on add an answer under answered, it should let you respond. Zach as well. And then actually, I think I have her email. So perfect. Awesome. Let me take a picture of it real quick. Alrighty. Again, thank you for coming out. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you definitely got something out of this meeting today. I definitely look forward to potentially working with you guys in the future. And
Bye,
Claudia
everyone.
and Marcos, I don't know if I'll be able to see you at school, but it's very, very big. But yeah, thank you for coming out. Mahima, anything you have to add?
Yeah, so we'll start sending emails out. Our bad. It's just like it's been really hard to get the emails, but we will start doing that. And also, yeah, I'm really excited that all of you guys are here. Hopefully we see you guys next meeting. It's nice to see y'all. Thank you for coming out.
Yes. Thank you for coming out. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Oh, Mr. Balin?
Nope, excellent meeting. Once again, you rocked it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A
Thank
plus,
you.
A plus.
Thank you for your help with the grant and everything. Okay, it's gonna be good.
No problem.
It all
Definitely.
comes together. I think hopefully we'll get it all approved.
Yes. That would be awesome. Alrighty. And with that, I make a motion to adjourn. So hope you guys have a fabulous evening.
Good night, everybody. Have a good long weekend.
Good night.
Good night. Have a long, nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.